Fantastic. You've got pole.
It's the final chapter of the season then here at the spectacular Yas Marina circuit. It's a race where the pole sitter failed to finish in 3 of the first 4 events. A front row start here is by no means a guarantee of victory, so we go into battle once more as we get underway at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, the Yas Marina circuit, just over 3.4 miles long with 21 corners and 2 very long back straights. There are 2 DRS zones going into the heavy braking zones of both turn 8 and turn 11 and offer plenty of potential for overtaking. The circuit comes with its fair share of tricky corners as well, in particular 15, 16 and 17, which will certainly test a driver's braking management. With the Grand Prix nearly upon us, Anthony Davidson is by my side once again to offer his perspective. Let's talk about Ghana. What a season they've had. A well-deserved championship victory and the pressure now surely off with the title already in the bag.
It really is well-deserved. I wouldn't say it's been a faultless title challenge, but certainly one that has been consistent and well-managed. Here's hoping they let off a bit of steam today and give us an exciting race.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Gardner lines up on pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Russell, Carlos Sainz, and Gasly, Leclerc, Kvyat, Norris, and Esteban Ocon, Ricciardo, Albon, Lance Stroll, and Perez, Bottas, De Vries, Kevin Magnussen, and Nicholas Latifi, Giovinazzi, Alesi, Joe, and Nobuharu Matsushita. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out. Then let's see who can prevail today.
Okay, we've already won the championship, so relax and enjoy this race.
Cheers, Jeff. Welcome everybody to another JDM Racing F1 2020 My Team video. The last of this series for F1 2020. It's been amazing. It's been an amazing run, and it's been extremely fun. But what a way to start the final video than on pole position. We beat Lewis Hamilton by over a second. Actually, we absolutely smashed the field. Went out, got a banker in, went out for the second lap, and improved by another 2/10. And nobody else improved, so we absolutely smashed the rest of the field, dominated. Yeah, Lewis was on the front row as well, so we have such a car advantage now. It's quite obscene, really. But we both qualified on mediums in Q2, so you can see the yellow marked tyres there under those covers. So we're going to be starting on the harder compound, both myself and Lewis. The rest of the field's going to be on softs, I think. So we're going to have we're going to be able to go a little bit longer in the first stint, and it's going to be a straight fight as well because we've got nothing left to play for in any of the championships. So it's gloves off and fisticuffs to the checker flag, and we're going to see if we can take, because Lewis has been on rocket form, like he's been winning races left, right, and centre, and I mean, which was the plan, because we wanted him to get that second place in the Drivers' Championship, which he's done now. So we are free to not have to micromanage anything. We can just race flat out and see where we end up in a straight fight with Lewis. So we apparently can go 8 laps on the medium and then we'll switch to soft for the second stint. Weather is clear. So we are looking at a straight up humdinger fight with Lewis Hamilton, JDM teammates, for the last race of the season and the last in the series. I hope you enjoy. Let's go. Maintaining. Let's go. We boost away off the line. We get a really good we get a really good start away from Hamilton. Take a big chunk of curb there. Lewis is coming back at us now a little bit. We're going to have to make sure that we cover down into the chicane. DRS is going to be a problem to defend against, so we're going to have to make sure we pull out that second.
Well done, mate. Nice start.
Ready for the end of lap 2, start of lap 3, when DRS is going to become a thing. Lewis is using the slipstream. We get on our bike again. Max Verstappen has got into 3rd place. So he will be looking to make an assault on Lewis as well. Riding the curbs. Coming around the second half of the lap now. 1.3 seconds is the gap. Back to Lewis Hamilton. We went in a little bit too hot in the first of those 2 left-handers. Had to get out of the throttle a little bit. That would have slowed us down. Would have lost a 10th or 2 in there. Crossing the line. In the lead. Dropping the Mercedes on the medium tyre. Such is the car advantage that we have at the moment. The extra pace that we've had in qualifying seems to have evaporated right now. Lewis is matching us. Blow for blow, sector for sector. The apex there, gained a few tenths. Fastest lap again.
Great work. That's a new fastest lap of the race.
Get that first corner all wrong. But we are just staying out ahead of Lewis right now. .4 seconds is the gap now. 2.6 back to Verstappen. They're hanging on. They are hanging on in there with those soft tyres. McLaren in 5th are going to be looking for that extra point positions over Renault to give them the upper hand in the Constructors' Championship battle a bit further down. Stretching the gap now, 2 seconds. Another fastest lap.
Gap to teammate behind is 1.9 seconds.
Settling in now. Qualifying laps, basically. Sergio Perez in the Ferrari is out. Sergio Perez in the Ferrari in 7th place. Having a steady race. He's been absolutely on form this weekend. And is he pulling away okay there? I don't know, he might have an issue there. He's pulling to the inside of the straight there. And Sergio Perez, the Ferrari, has let go. Maybe that's gearbox, transmission. There's no drive there. Coasting to the end of that straight. That car does not sound good. He's going to have to pull off there. And Sergio Perez is out of the race.
We're leading our teammate by 4.0 seconds.
A bit more than that. like 21.7 seconds to me. Coming for our stop then.
Complete, go now. That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops.
It's going to be tight on the exit here. Will we oversteer? He's back within a second, so the undercut, very powerful there. Going to play Lewis right back into the contention of the race win here. He's going to have DRS and the slipstream. We're going to have the slightly fresher tyres. We get the ERS on to try and defend from this DRS.
Battery charge is high. Let's use that overtake button more.
Lewis is clinging on right now. He wants the race win. It's the fastest lap, 34.8. Now, did he get the DRS? I think he did. Again, we defend this DRS zone from Lewis Hamilton. Trade in fastest laps again. Goes to the line. It's another fastest lap, 34.3.
That's a new fastest lap of the race. This is your final lap of the race.
Again, just ahead of Hamilton. He gets the DRS. He's closer this time. Much, much closer. He's right with us. It's closing. Closing. Lewis has pushed us all the way. But we've coped with it, and we're going to win our final race for JDM.
Great job, you've done everything we wanted today.
That's it then, they've taken the win here as we wrap up another fantastic Formula One season. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Well, this was a real team victory. They put together a solid strategy today that appeared well suited to the conditions out on track. The driver did everything that was expected of them in the moment to really execute the team's plan to perfection, a shining example of how F1 really is a team sport.
Well, I'm thoroughly exhausted after the excitement of that race, but I'm sure it's nothing compared to our drivers here. They've worked hard to make it up there, and it's great to see them make their way out onto the podium.
Podium celebrations then, ourselves and Lewis on the top steps, spraying the other team member.
Now, let's discuss, Ant. Who would you say is a contender for driver of the day?
Well, Crofty, Daniel Ricciardo would have to be my driver of the day. It's less about what he did right, but how little he did wrong. Perfect driving. All respect to the fans' choice, they fully deserve it. But I just feel that my pick had a little more on their plate, so their ability to keep a cool head and come through for such a strong finish made the difference, at least in my opinion.
Nothing can challenge the leaders of the Constructors' Championship at this point. But there was also a strong showing from the McLaren team today as they make their way up the standings. Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
Right then, to compile the results for the last time, we win the Grand Prix with a fastest lap of 1 minute 34.314, which is 0.2 quicker than our teammate, and gets us the extra point. Lewis Hamilton finishes 0.6 of a second behind us on the track, pushed us all the way, and we were the class of the field once again. Max Verstappen, to be fair to him, did the best he could. He was best of the rest. Russell in 5th, so Mercedes still second best, but Pierre Gasly, what a final race for him. That comment I made about him the other day must have really stuck in his craw, because he's really pushed it the last couple of races. He's back up there. Leclerc, I mean, he punches above his weight. There's no way that Ferrari should be in a 6th place, but he just, like I said, he just outperforms that car crazily. So a big plus for Charles, especially after the DNF last race. So that's a big result for him. Carlos Sainz 7th, Lando Norris in the other McLaren 8th, Ricciardo 9th, Kvyat and Ocon 10th and 11th for Renault. The AlphaTauri's a bit further down. We did have Sergio in the Ferrari with that DNF. Alesi still no points in his career, sad. Bottas not to his day today. The other also ran teams, not really much going on down here, to be honest. The highlight probably was the start. Lewis was close to us, but I don't think he ever really threatened to overtake us. He got close a couple of times, probably the closest on the last lap. But we did a good job in keeping him back. Even with the DRS, we managed to deploy our engine mappings and engine modes in the right way to keep him behind. Slow-mo shots across the curbs. Using all the track and then some. really was just about being consistent, especially at this phase on the soft tyres. Later on in the race, just trying to keep Lewis back was quite a challenge. But we knew where the car was quick, and we knew where to deploy. Close, very close. Not close enough. Come home to take it. Take the win. A win for JDM, a second place for JDM. The final point standings, we have a 1-2 in the drivers, Max Verstappen and George Russell 3rd and 4th. But Max Verstappen quite a long way ahead of George Russell, has to be said. The two Red Bulls 5th and 6th. Gasly doing a really good job in that McLaren, actually, up in 7th. Pips Kvyat to that 7th place. Bottas, again, he did all he could do in that racing point as well. Very, very strong season from him with the car that he had. And a bit further down, I mean, Leclerc absolutely smashed Perez in terms of points. And Alesi, Latifi and the two Hasses, no points. In terms of constructors, McLaren managed to hold on to that 4th place. They got the job done against Renault on the final day. Racing point down is 7th, Ferrari 8th. So a real rebuilding job going to be needed to be done at Ferrari. It's been a whirlwind of 3 seasons. To think where we were when we started compared to where we are now, absolutely crazy. But we did it. We did it. We are the champions of the world. And we'll go back to the HQ in a second just to grab some statistics, and we can see how we ended up compared to the other teams. So I'll see you back there in a second. So here we are then, back at HQ. The season results. Lewis with an extremely strong second half to the season. He gets 5 wins, and that's a look at all the fastest laps as well. Lewis getting a few at the end there, towards the end of the season, but Max very, very quick in the first half of the season, and then Mercedes R&D just trailed off. In terms of our career statistics, 1 driver's title, 1 constructor's title, 10 pole positions, 925 points, 21 race wins, 36 podiums, an average finishing position of 5th, an average grid of 10th, 6,320 miles driven, 16 fastest laps, and 1,727 laps driven. So some pretty good numbers there. I mean, 21 race wins, I think that puts us up in the kind of reach of like Damon Hill, Kimi Räikkönen, that sort of range in terms of career wins, which is not bad company to be in at all, to be honest. I mean, yeah, if you look at where we were, even back in season 1, just with the 1 race win in Canada, we were starting to get points positions there, but Mercedes very much the dominant force. Then the big challenge with Max after he moved to Mercedes to partner Lewis, and then we snagged Lewis, get him in our car, and George Russell was nowhere near the level of Lewis as a teammate to Verstappen. So that's what we wanted. That's why we poached him, was to make sure that we know in Mercedes we're going to be strong, to get a class teammate in, and you know, notwithstanding that George Russell actually drove for us in the second half of season 2, but Lewis is a top driver, so that was a key acquisition in getting that Constructors' Championship, I think. So that caps off an amazing career in terms of the the R&D. So you can see how much of an advantage we had there over the rest of the field towards the end. Quite a large gap. The engine was I mean, it was a Mercedes customer engine, but we've tweaked it to be even more powerful than the works team. Aerodynamics, we were potentially on the way to maxing that out, and very, very strong, and chassis as well. So the only thing we didn't really bother with was the reliability. We were actually the worst in terms of that. So the wear rates would have been the worst, but in terms of car performance, that's where we put all the points, and it definitely showed. All that's left to say is thanks for watching all of these JDM racing videos in the F1 2020 My Team series, and stay tuned, because we're going to be coming back with JDM on F1 2021 very, very soon, and starting the journey from minnows once again to try and become world champions on the new game. So if you enjoyed the video today, please do give it a thumbs up, give it a like, subscribe for the next iteration of the JDM series in the new game, and I want to thank you all for watching, and we'll see you again very, very soon. Thanks a lot, guys.